Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. Have you ever wondered whether you feel for someone is real love or just emotional attachment? At first, both can feel incredibly similar, and you think about the person constantly, you miss them, and when they are not around, you feel deeply connected to them. But over time, something begins to feel confusing. Instead of peace, you feel anxiety. Instead of emotional safety, you feel uncertainty. Instead of feeling secure in a relationship, you feel afraid of losing them. And this raises an important question many people struggle with. Is this love? Or am I just emotionally attached? The truth is that many relationships people call love are actually driven by emotional attachment. And while attachment can feel intense, powerful, and even addictive, it is not always the same as healthy love. In today's video, we are going to explore the psychological difference between real love and emotional attachment, and why people often confuse the two, and how understanding this difference can completely transform the way you experience relationships. Now, understanding emotional attachment. Let's begin by understanding what emotional attachment really means. Emotional attachment happens when your sense of emotional comfort becomes strongly connected to another person. Your mood begins to depend on their presence. When they give you attention, you feel happy. When they become distant, you feel anxious or insecure. Your emotional stability becomes linked to their behavior, and this creates a powerful bond. But this bond is often driven by the need and fear of loss, rather than genuine emotional security. Attachment can make someone feel like they cannot live without the other person, even if relationship is unhealthy. It doesn't matter how the other person is treating you, but you are just accepting the way they are because you love them, okay, from the core of your heart. And this is why people sometimes remain emotionally attached to partners who treat them poorly, because attachment is not always about love. Sometimes it's about fear, validation, and emotional dependence. Now, the most crucial part is understanding real love. So, real love is very different. Real love does not come from emotional desperation, it comes from emotional security and mutual respect. I've already told you multiple times in my other videos, you guys can check that as well, that love and care. Care and respect is most important in love, okay? And the person loves you, he would treat you very well, okay? And in a healthy, loving relationship, you feel emotionally safe, you feel valued, and you feel respected. Your happiness does not depend entirely on the other person's behavior. Instead, the relationship becomes a source of support rather than emotional survival. Real love allows two people to stay connected while still maintaining their individual emotional stability. And this creates a relationship that feels peaceful rather than overwhelming. Now, key differences I just want to share with you. Now, difference number one is love brings peace and attachment brings anxiety. Okay, one of the biggest differences between love and attachment is how the relationship makes you feel most of the time. Okay, really, attachment often creates anxiety. You constantly wonder, like, do they still love me? Why are they acting distant? Or what if they leave me? Your mind becomes filled with questions and overthinking. And real love, on the other hand, creates emotional stability. You trust the connection. You don't constantly feel losing the person. and there is a sense of calm and emotional security. Love feels like home. Attachment often feels like uncertainty. Okay? And trust is very important. And I just want to say you guys can check my previous videos too, and check the video about love bombing. So it would give you a clue about just whenever you are in a relationship, please just check like if this person is genuine person or is love bombing you. So the difference number two is attachment seeks validation and love offers acceptance. Emotionally attached relationships often involve a strong desire for validation. You want the person to constantly reassure you that you are important to them. Their attention becomes a source of emotional approval. But in real love, acceptance replaces validation. You feel valued not because someone constantly proves it, but because the relationship itself feels stable and respectful. You don't like you are chasing reassurance. You simply feel understood. Now, the difference number three is attachment creates possession and love creates freedom. Attachment can sometimes lead to possessiveness. You may feel uncomfortable when the person spends time away from you, and you may worry about losing them to someone else. Okay? So, this happens because attachment is often connected to fear of abandonment. But real love allows space. Healthy love understands that both individual needs independence. There is trust that the relationship will remain strong even when both people maintain their personal lives. And love says, I want you in my life. But attachment says, I need you in my life. Okay? Now, the key difference number four is attachment is driven by fear and love is driven by care. So, attachment is often rooted in fear and fear of losing the person, fear of being alone, fear of being emotionally empty. So, this fear can make people stay in relationships that are not healthy for them. And love, however, is not driven by fear. Love is driven by genuine care for the other person's well being. You want the person to be happy even if the happiness sometimes requires difficult conversations, growth, or change. And that focuses on mutual growth, not emotional control, and why people confuse attachment with love. It's one of the biggest reasons people confuse attachment with love is because attachment can feel incredibly intense. It creates small emotional highs and lows, and moments of affection feel magical. Moments of distance feel devastating. This emotional roller coaster can make the relationship feel passionate, but intensity does not always mean depth. Okay, sometimes it simply means emotional dependency. A real love often feels calmer, less dramatic, and more stable because people are used to associating passion with chores and they sometimes mistake unhealthy intensity for deep love. Okay, so uh, it's not like your love would always be dramatic, and if the other person isn't dramatic, so it's not. No, don't expect too much from someone, okay? So, signs you might be experiencing detachment instead of love is you might be experiencing emotional attachment if you constantly worry about losing the person. Your mood changes dramatically depending on their behavior, and you feel anxious when they don't respond quickly. You tolerate behaviors that hurt you because you are afraid of losing them. You feel incompetent or incomplete without them. These patterns often indicate emotional dependency rather than healthy love. So, what healthy love actually feels like? Healthy love feels different. It feels safe. You can express your thoughts without fear. You feel respected even during disagreements. You are not constantly questioning where you stand in this relationship. And most importantly, healthy love allows both partners to grow emotionally together. It does not limit your identity, it strengthens it. So, now you guys might be thinking like emotional attachment is so addictive. So one of the reasons that emotional attachment feels so powerful because it activates a reward system in the brain. When someone you care about suddenly shows affection, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. And these chemicals create feelings of happiness, comfort, and emotional closeness. But when the person becomes distant, those feelings disappear. Your brain then begins craving the emotional reward again, and this creates a psychological cycle similar to addiction. You start chasing the moments when the person makes you feel loved, and those rare moments of warmth begin to feel incredibly valuable. This is why emotionally attached relationships can feel so difficult to leave even when they are painful, because your brain is not only attached to the person, it is attached to the emotional highs they create. Now, the illusion of chemistry. Many people believe that intense emotional attraction automatically means two people are deeply compatible, but sometimes what people call chemistry is called emotional familiarity. If someone reminds you of emotional patterns you experienced earlier in your life, you might interpret that familiarity as attraction. For example, if someone grew up in an environment where love was inconsistent, they may feel drawn towards partners who are emotionally unpredictable. And this doesn't mean the relationship is healthy. It simply means the brain recognizes something familiar. Any familiarity can sometimes feel like destiny. Okay? But true compatibility is not about emotional choice. It's about mutual respect, understanding, and emotional safety. Now, the moment people start realizing the difference, many people begin to recognize the difference between attachment and love after experiencing emotional exhaustion. They reach a point where they ask themselves, why does this relationship make me feel so anxious all the time? They begin noticing the patterns, the constant overthinking, the emotional ups and downs, the feeling of always trying to hold the relationship together. And then slowly they start realizing something important. Love should not feel like constant emotional struggle. It should feel like a partnership. You both people contribute to the relationship's emotional stability. And the realization is often become the first step towards healthier relationships. Now, what happens when you choose healthy love? When people move from emotional attachment toward healthier love, something powerful changes. The relationship dynamic becomes calmer and communication becomes easier. There is less fear of abandonment and more emotional trust. You stop feeling like you have to constantly prove your worth to the other person. Instead, both partners feel valued simply for those who they are. And healthy love does not create emotional chaos, and it creates emotional stability. And while it may not always be dramatic or overwhelming, it offers something far more meaningful. It offers peace, and peace is one of the strongest indicators that a relationship is built on genuine love rather than emotional dependency. So, now I just want to say that if you have ever confused attachment with love, you are not alone. Many people experience it at some point in their lives because attachment can feel powerful. It can feel like a deep connection. Real love feels different, but real love does not make you constantly question your worth. It does not make you feel anxious about being abandoned. Okay, real love makes you feel valued, respected, and emotionally safe. And once you experience that kind of love, you begin to realize something important. Love is not about how intensely someone holds on you. Uh, it is about how gently and consistently they care for your heart. So, being a consultant clinical psychologist, if you guys need therapeutic sessions or couple therapy with me, just let me know. We can have online sessions as well. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe it, share it with your friends, like it, and comment to me below. See you soon in the next video. Children, take care. Goodbye.